Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a freshman member of this body, it's been my distinct honor to work with a number of people who have come to this body who care about their citizens, the people who cannot take care of themselves, but are also mindful and care about the people who are paying the freight. They are the people who are looking to continue government, take care of the services that need to be taken care of, but they're also, again, mindful of the people who are paying the freight. They're also looking for where government is not functioning efficiently or where there is waste. I feel compelled today to address some of the statements that have been made on the floor of the House in support of this amendment, which do not comport with that philosophy. Mr. Speaker, I've heard the Minority Whip quote Charles Zogby that there are no more places to make cuts. Yet we've identified $70 million of positions that have not been filled for over 3 years. That $70 million was going to those departments and being used to circumvent the budgetary review process. That's waste, that's fraud. Mr. Zogby was wrong. There are others that could be identified. The Minority Whip also stated that the impact tax, and make no mistake, a government fee in this context is a tax, would be left in place by this amendment, and that the local governments would continue to receive that revenue. Mr. Speaker, the makers of this amendment know, as do my county commissioners, township supervisors, and other municipal government leaders, that that is a falsehood, plain and simple. The contracts that these companies are entered into have clauses that state that should that severance tax be imposed, that impact fee goes away. The courts will definitely rule that that is an impairment of the contracts. Those local governments are going to be missing out on that revenue. If they take the revenue, if they take the money, they're going to be on the hook and have to pay it back, or it's going to get shut off. And let me tell you about how that's going to affect just one of my little townships, Heath Township. Their operating budget, outside of what this impact fee is giving them, is less than the cost of funding one student in Philadelphia County, Delaware County, Bucks County. That's their operating revenue. Now you tell me how my roads are going to get fixed for those people in Heath Township when that money goes away. Those people are working outside of the district. Many of them were working in gas industries until this government's policy started destroying those jobs. My nephew is a rig foreman. Not too long ago, he sent me a text asking me, "Uncle Chris, do you know where you can find some jobs for my crews?" They're hardworking men and women. They're gone. He also asked me a short time later, or I asked him how many jobs are gone with Universal. He said in his local area, it's 90 jobs. Within hours, he sent me another text saying, "Uncle Chris, I've just found out about 15 more. We have people who have to travel outside of state. They're working in places like Ohio and North Dakota while they leave their families back at home because their wife or other person has to do care for an elderly family member. Thank you very much for deciding that you want to kill more of these jobs. Thank you very much for deciding that sitting down here or sitting where you come from, where your key revenue source in your district is not the Marcellus, that you deem it that you're going to reach out and snag the jobs, destroy the jobs for those people. in my district and others. I'm sure you would have a very big problem if I found the key industry in your area and identified a certain tax to target your industry and do the same thing to your industry that you're doing to mine, to your economy that you're doing to mine. I have people driving around on dirt and gravel roads that you guys would never put up with in your districts. Those roads were being fixed by this impact fee, and now you want to take it away. Thank you for making my constituents have to pay for driving on axle-busting roads to repair the tie rods and everything else that goes wrong on their cars because of this. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for proposing that for the people of my district. Mr. Speaker, the author of this amendment and others have tried to sell this as a means of property tax reductions. I want to thank the gentleman from Allegheny and Westmoreland County who got up here and went through how that song and dance had been played over and over and over again over the last 15 years. My constituents may not have much in the way of internet access because of where they live, but they're not stupid. They understand, they've seen this song and dance before, and what they're telling me is that's garbage. One of my best friends back home says, you know, we had this old saying that fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. For this body to turn around and vote again, anybody who's done it before, and vote again for another tax increase based on a promise that's been shown to be false over and over and over again, is to be the one to be labeled a fool. And while we're on the property tax issue, I'd like to give the members who are supporting the idea of a severance tax something else to think about. For most of you, the number one issue in your districts is property taxes. What is the second largest line item on most municipal governments? Behind the personnel issues, it's utilities. Whether it's the electricity to take care of the water and sewer lines, to light the streets, to light the government buildings, the courthouses, the schools, the jails. It's the second largest line item. You want to see a 25% increase in the electricity costs that have to be done because most of our electricity now is generated by natural gas. You really want to see your property taxes go up because you voted for a severance tax? Answer that to your constituents 6 months after they get their, you get the severance tax, and they start seeing their property taxes go up. And lastly, the governor sent Katie McGinney to my office to try and argue for a severance tax a few months back. I asked her this. That is a single revenue stream that the governor is trying to tax. That single revenue stream can create thousands of different products. That's thousands of different revenue streams from other manufacturing companies. Those generate millions of jobs. Now you're talking about millions of revenue streams. What is the sense in choking off that one revenue stream when it can generate tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of other revenue streams? Where's the sense in that? Ronald Reagan said a rising tide lifts all boats. He proved that to be true. Open up and let our gas industry do what Procter & Gamble has done up in Mahoopany. Park one of the largest facilities under one roof on top of a Marcellus well where they have all the energy supplied that they need in order to make that plant run. And they're selling the excess electricity out to the local economy. It's benefiting everybody. Let us do that in western and northern Pennsylvania. You want to see the revenue increase? Give us our jobs back. Our best export's been our working class children. Let us get them back. Let us keep the ones that we're raising. But no, you keep wanting to ship us out. Go ahead, vote to kill the jobs and the people in my district, because I'll be looking for a way to target yours.